Following the death in 1290 of Margaret, Queen of Scots, claims were made by various competitors for the crown. Balliol was elected supported by King Edward I of England. Edward used his influence over him to subjugate Scotland. The Scottish nobility deposed Balliol and appointed a council to govern in his place as he signed a treaty with France. In retaliation, Edward invaded Scotland. After the English victory at Dunbar in 1296, Scottish landowners had to recognize Edward as king. The following year, Andrew Moray started a revolt in the north and William Wallace in the south, and they joined forces in Dundee. From there they went to Stirling, occupied by the English. Stirling's castle was on a cliff, dominating the plain through which the Forth River passed. The Stirling Bridge was of vital importance since it served as a link between the north and southern Scotland. The English army of about 9,000 men, composed of English, Welsh and Scottish knights, archers, crossbowmen and infantry, was gathered south of the river. John de Warenne, Earl of Surrey and Hugh of Cressingham led the English army. Surrey was worried about the size of the Scottish army from which a narrow wooden bridge separated on the Forth River. Resting in the woody area of Abbey Craig, the Scots had about 6,000 men, 300 knights, archers, lancers, and men armed with the great Scottish claymore. Wallace and Moray watched from high ground the movements of English troops. Thinking that he would be at a disadvantage if he tried to cross his army there, Surrey delayed the progress for several days to recognize the area and try to negotiate with the Scots. After sending an emissary and later 2 Dominican friars, William Wallace's response was that they had not come there to make peace but to defend themselves and free his kingdom. A Scottish knight fighting for the English offered to outflank the Scots at a ford further north, but Hugh of Cressingham convinced Surrey that it was best to order a frontal attack to save time and money. After a series of delays in the attack, on September 11 the English vanguard began the crossing of the bridge with heavy cavalry led by Sir Marmaduke Thwaites. When the Scots saw that the English were preparing to cross the river, they descended to the plain and positioned their pike-armed men in close formation with the cavalry on one flank. The narrowness of the wooden bridge prevented the English from quickly crossing to the other side of the river, but Wallace held back his men, eager to engage. He waited until a third of the English army crossed, and at that time the battle began, firing the archers first. Then the Scottish spearmen descended the high ground in rapid advance and repulsed a charge by English heavy cavalry. The Scottish cavalry commanded by Moray advanced, taking control of the eastern side of the bridge. Sir Marmaduke Thwaites managed to break through the bridge and retire to the southern shore. Fighting on the low and swampy field of the north of the river, without the possibility of withdrawal, most of the English died or were pushed by the Scots towards the river, where they died drowned by the weight of their armor. Hugh of Cressingham was one of those who perished. Surrey, who remained to the south with most of his army intact, sent reinforcements, but the wooden bridge fell under the weight, dragging hundreds of English soldiers into the river where they died. This was too much for Surrey, that ordered the withdrawal of the English army. Leaving Sir Marmaduke Fweng and William Warine in charge of the defence of Stirling Castle and abandoning the lowlands to the Scots, Surrey fled to Berwick with the rest of his army. A few weeks after the battle, Stirling Castle passed into Scottish hands and the English were driven from Scotland. William Wallace and Andrew Moray were appointed guardians of Scotland. However, Moray died a short time later from wounds inflicted in the battle, and Wallace became the sole commander of the army. Initially, Wallace focused on the administration of the country, but a few weeks later he led a small invasion of northern England that marked the pinnacle of his power. Meanwhile, Edward was already planning another invasion of Scotland, which would lead to the Battle of Falkirk, but that will be another video.